Peter, what do you want to be when you grow up?
What I want to be when I grow up, I have promised myself that when I grow up, I'm going to own a record store. So I think that either when I win the lottery or if I ever retire, my plan is to walk out of my office and walk into and turn the keys to open up a small little used record store maybe, or any kind of very simple eclectic record store that would take me back to those times when somehow somebody would pay me minimally, but pay me to sit and listen to music or help people find music that they wanted to listen to has got to be the most phenomenal job for me. Would love to do that when I grow up, and hopefully I get to do that.
What is your... No, let's skip that. Peter, if you could witness any event at any time, what would it be?
Well, I will confess to you that I knew this question was coming. I had to give this some thought because I think it's such a phenomenal and far-reaching question, and I had to go back to the negotiations and the signing of our Constitution, and then separately the negotiations and signing of or implementation of our Bill of Rights. I can only imagine the arguments and the negotiating and the poker play that was happening amongst all of those people that were putting together this incredible document that for years and centuries to come will be looked at as a guide for other countries, and certainly even still a document that we interpret and fall to in our own country. I think that of all the games of poker and all the negotiations and all of the times that people have grappled with huge concepts and ideas, that must have been phenomenal. The electricity in that room and the tense negotiations and the, I'm sure, relief and maybe the anger and joy that would have come from finishing that document must have been an incredible event to witness. I would have loved to have seen that. And I know that sounds a little cliche for an attorney to say that, but that's just what I thought of. There's just some great minds sitting in that room, parrying and debating and discussing things.
Peter, what are the top mistakes and opportunities that business make? Excuse me, let me start that over. Peter, what are the top mistakes and opportunities for businesses?
Well, I can tell you that, from my experience in the area of law and the area of business that I do the majority of my work, the areas that I see that most business people could improve upon is really exercising a little bit of prevention, and that sometimes businesses get too wrapped up in trying to save a little bit of cost on the front end or trying to avoid a little bit of interaction with an attorney at the front end. And the biggest example is reviewing a contract. I mean, just let's take a look at a pretty significant contract or some terms and conditions that are going to govern the sale of your goods for the next year. That they won't have that reviewed by an attorney before putting those in action, or they won't have them drafted by an attorney. They'll take a cut and paste job from something else. And then that is fine when things are going well, and then inevitably aren't fine if things don't go well. If there's a dispute or there's a problem with a product or something in the transaction, a lot of times then you've magnified the problem because you didn't solve a small, inexpensive problem at the beginning, and it's now developed into a very large, resource-draining dispute on the back end. So it's always the whole ounce of prevention better than a pound of cure. And I constantly tell my clients, please, 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 don't ever let me be the one to say I told you so. Let's take a look at this now. Let's have the uncomfortable conversation with the other side or whatever now, so that we can clarify these small problems now, so that down the road you don't have something that really implicates the majority of your business or it could be a huge drain.
Peter, how can professionals best take advantage of their Troy Chamber membership?
I realize that it's a little bit cliched to say be active, because that's, I think, what happens a lot of times. You say it's, if you're active, you get a lot out of it in terms of any organization. But I can tell you just from my personal experience that what I've done with the Troy Chamber is I have actively tried to meet people through the Troy Chamber, not because I want to necessarily do business, but in just the meeting other people in the region, meeting other business people in the region has been incredibly satisfying, personally and professionally. I mean, I went into it with the intent of, hey, let's see what the Troy Chamber organization is all about. You know, shame on Stark Reagan for, you know, being a member of Troy, the city of Troy, for, you know, since 1973, and for many of those years we weren't in the Troy Chamber of Commerce. So it's something that we should do as a, you know, long-standing member of the business community. We should do this. And so I went into it with not too many expectations. Went into it with the notion of, let's meet some people. Let's meet my neighbors, you know, my business neighbors. And what I came away with was a great meeting, a great group of people, new people that I'm constantly meeting, wonderful people that, and smart business people that have become friends of mine. And I will also say the spin-off to that has been, I've gotten a lot of business from people that I've met and connections that I've made through the Troy Chamber. And I did that by physically getting to these meetings and getting to these great, you know, informal outings or informal networking opportunities. Whereas instead of just, you know, sitting in the corner or sitting at the table to, you know, go shake a hand and find that a lot of the other people there were the same way, just wanting to meet other people in the community and in the region. It's incredibly satisfying. It's been very rewarding professionally and personally. So I'm a huge advocate of the Troy Chamber because of that.